Welcome to all in this our YouTube channel. So today, in continuation with our last lecture, we are going to look at the next point, that is Henry's law. Now in last video, we have seen some basic concepts which are related to the solutions chapter. Means the terms like molarity, mole fraction, percentage by mass, percentage by volume, all these terms we have discussed in our last lecture. Now in continuation with that, we are moving towards this point, that is Henry's law. Now what this law states? It states that the solubility of gas in a liquid is directly proportional to the pressure, that is of a gas over the solution. Means S is directly proportional to the P. What it tells us, if you we have already seen the different types of solutions in our last lecture. In that, one combination was there, that is solute is gas and solvent is liquid. In that combination, whenever we have taken an example of cold drinks, in cold drinks what is happening, some pressure of gas is present inside that liquid, that is in bottle. Due to that gas, what happens, that gas is get mixed inside that liquid with the application of some pressure. That concept was explained by the scientist, that is Henry's law, and it is always directly proportional to the applied pressure. Means how much pressure you are going to be applied on that surface of liquid, that much solubility will be there at that time. So according to its statement, we can write this relation. S is directly proportional to the pressure. Here this term Kh, what it indicates, it is nothing but the proportionality constant. So if we are going to determine its units of Kh, we can take the ratio of S divided by P, solubility divided by the applied pressure. Then you will get this unit, that is mole per liter per bar. Mole per liter is the unit of solubility, and for pressure its unit will be bar. So its unit will become like this, mole per liter per bar. So this is about what you can say in this law. Here one condition is there, when pressure is 1 bar, means this law we are going to see in standard conditions. At that time, if its pressure will be 1 bar, then this solubility product constant, that is Kh, is nothing but its solubility. Here what we have did, we are going to put the value of P is equal to 1 here. So at that time, this term becomes Kh is equal to S. Now Kh is the solubility of gas in a liquid when its pressure over solution is 1 bar. That's why we are getting this equation after putting the value of pressure P is equal to 1 in the above equation. Now we will see one condition. Which condition? Look at here. Ammonia and carbon dioxide gas do not obey Henry's law. Why? This is the question, because its solubility is different than that of the normal gases. As ammonia and carbon dioxide gas is more soluble in water, therefore these two gases comes under the category of exceptional cases. As in our previous video, we have seen sodium sulfate was there, that is the ionic salt that we have considered. With the help of graph we have studied already. As that sodium sulfate shows the abnormal case than that of the all the ionic salts, means with the increasing temperature first its solubility increases, then after increasing temperature, after some temperature, means after 30 degrees Celsius, its solubility should be increases, but instead of increasing solubility it get decreases. That was the exceptional case for that ionic salt in that liquid. But here also some gases are also present, like that ammonia and carbon dioxide, they have higher solubility in water. With the help of reaction we have shown here, ammonia on reaction with water will get ammonium ion and hydroxide ions. Here also carbon dioxide on reaction with water, you will get H2CO3. This reversible arrow shows we can interconvert again ions into its corresponding, what you can say, ammonia gas and carbon dioxide gas. Okay. Now here, why due to its higher solubility, they shows some exceptional cases with the what I can say, Henry's law, because without applying any extra pressure they are more soluble in the water. Again, oxygen gas is less soluble in water than blood. This is the one of the, what I can say, this question we can put in, do you know or can you think why this is happening? O2 gas is less soluble in water than blood. Why? Because oxygen which we are going to be breathed, that oxygen get mixed with our blood, and you already know in biomolecules that details are already given. But when oxygen we are going to be inhale, or when we take with the help of breath, at that time what happens, oxygen get mixed with the hemoglobin structure, and its solubility is more in blood as compared with the water. So therefore we can say that oxygen gas is less soluble in water than that of the blood, and that process is you can study in detail how oxygen get mixed with our blood and how it gets circulates over entire our body. All the details you can study in biomolecules. Okay, but due to the attachment of this oxygen with that hemoglobin, its solubility increases. So we can say that oxygen is more soluble in blood as compared with that of water. So this is the exceptional case, or we can say that this is the point we should keep in mind. Okay. Now we will move to our next point, that is vapor pressure of solutions of liquids in liquids. Now you already know, when two liquids get mixed with each other, in that case there are two components are present. That components we can consider by a single any constants. Okay, but here vapor pressure study we are going to study for that binary liquids. Now first of all we will see what is meant by vapor pressure. Vapor pressure is nothing but the pressure of vapors which are generated over any liquid, and that pressure of vapors when get applied on the surface of liquid, and due to that pressure some pressure is exerted by gas molecules or vapor molecules on that liquid surface. That pressure is known as a vapor pressure of that corresponding liquid. Okay, as generally you already know some liquids, for example water, or some volatile liquids also you can take, for example petrol. You just go on observing, if you take some 100 ml of petrol in a beaker, and if I keep in normal condition, means in normal environment, means at near about 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, what happens, some of the petrol molecules which get escaped into the atmosphere. And when we close that beaker, then what happens? The molecules which are trying to escape from its surface, they are present inside that container and they exert pressure over that liquid, and that pressure we are calling it as a vapor pressure of that volatile liquid, that is petrol. Okay, so like that same thing is happening in different liquids also. Now this is the case for volatile liquids. As non-volatile liquids, if you are going to see non-volatile liquids, they do not have that much vapor pressure as compared with non-volatile components. If the liquid is evaporating very fast, in that case what happens? The molecules which are coming out from that liquid are more in number, hence vapor pressure also more. But for non-volatile component or for non-volatile liquids, the molecules which are escaping through that liquid, their number will be less. Therefore, that for that liquid we can say that it is of non-volatile type. Means in that case vapor pressure will be low. Now vapor pressure of solutions of liquids in liquids, this term we are studying for the combination of two liquids, that is we are calling it as a binary liquid. Now for binary liquid, Raoult's law, it is very useful for the calculating partial vapor pressures of individual components, and by calculating partial vapor pressures he has calculated the total vapor pressure. That derivation now we are going to see in this next point, that is Raoult's law. Okay. As we are coming to this point, vapor pressure of solutions of liquids in liquids, here the two components now we are going to take. Here in also Raoult's law, we are applying that Raoult's law to that binary liquids, then only you will get this derivation. Okay. So let us see Raoult's law. Now what Raoult's law stated, that partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of solution is equal to the vapor pressure of the pure component multiplied by its mole fraction in the solution. This is just a what you can say statement, but you cannot read again and again, or we can say with the help of this theory we can construct a new formula. Now what happens, see, look at here, by reading this statement I will make my own equation here, this equation. See, the partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of solution is equal to the vapor pressure of the pure component. Vapor pressure of pure component we are denoting with this term. You just know the meaning of each and every term in this Raoult's law equation. Then only you can say that whether means which term is what it means or what it tells us. Here P10 is the pure component, first component, that is 1 at the base, which what it indicates? It indicates it is nothing but the vapor pressure of the pure component. Now again, if we read that statement, multiplied by its mole fraction in the solution. You already known about the mole fraction factor, as in our last lecture we have explained in detail what is meant by mole fraction. Okay, so this is nothing but what you can say vapor pressure of the pure component and its multiplication with the mole fraction, that is x1. This product is explained by this Raoult's law statement. Here, what they have stated, partial vapor pressure of any volatile component, like that they have said. This is nothing but what we can say, partial vapor pressure of first component. So here we can write like this: P1 is equal to P10 multiplied by X2. P10 is partial vapor pressure of pure component and X1 is the mole fraction. Its product is nothing but the, what you can say, partial vapor pressure. Okay. So these are the terms you should know in detail for your better understanding. Now, according to this statement we have written here. Okay. Now we have considered an experimental setup for this Raoult's law. Consider a solution containing two volatile components. That volatile components I have considered as A and B. Now look at here. I have underlined that A and B components, and their mole fractions are nothing but the X1 and X2. These are their two mole fractions, and P10 and P20, these are nothing but the vapor pressure of pure components, P10 and P20. As earlier I have already explained, at the superscript of P, when we are denoting with a small 0, means that component is in pure state. So therefore how we can read this term? P10 is nothing but the partial vapor pressure of pure component, that is first, and these are the two terms which are nothing but the vapor pressure of pure components A and B. Now here vapor pressure of component A, for vapor pressure of component A we have determined its partial vapor pressure is nothing but, according to the Raoult's law, we have written here, mole fraction of first component multiplied by the vapor pressure of that pure component first. So therefore it becomes equation, we are getting equation like this: P1 is equal to X1 plus X1 into P10. Like that for component B also we can write that equation. P2 is nothing but X2 into P20. According to the Raoult's law statement we have written. Now the total vapor pressure PT, now we are going to calculate. So this is the actual start of the derivation. Here what we have taken here, PT is nothing but the total vapor pressure, is nothing but the vapor pressure of the two components. Why? Because we have already chosen a binary liquid mixture. So for that purpose, P1 is the partial vapor pressure of first component and P2 is the partial vapor pressure of second component. And what we did their addition. Then what we are getting, X1 P10 plus X2 P20. And what we did, we have assigned the number to that equation as a equation number 1. Now here what we have did in next step, as we already studied the mole fraction. In that mole fraction of first component and its addition with the second component, which are present in liquid, its addition always be equal to 1. So this is the important thing, that important term we have used here, that is X1 plus X2 is equal to 1. Okay. Now if the equation will be like this, then this equation we can modify in terms of X2. So we have written X2 is equal to 1 minus X1. Now we have substituted this X2 value in the above equation, that is in equation 1. Then what we are getting? We are getting PT is equal to, that is total vapor pressure is equal to X1 P10 we have substituted as it is, plus at the place of this value, that is X2, at the place of this term we have substituted this value here. Then equation becomes 1 minus X1 outside the bracket P20. Now by going on multiplication of this P20 inside the bracket, what we are getting? Now just go on multiplying inside this bracket with this term, that is P20, you will get this equation. Okay, and after that the total the total vapor pressure becomes x1, and here these are the two common, these are the terms which I have underlined. You just you just go on looking these two terms, what the difference you are going to be notified here. The terms x1 is common in both these terms, so we have taken x1 as a common, we have written outside the bracket, and inside the bracket what is remaining, P10 minus P20 is remaining, we have written as it is, plus P20, that terms we have kept as it is with its plus sign. Here I have going to be make a square bracket to this term, because this equation is the final equation of this Raoult's law. So according to the Raoult's law, with this final equation, we have written as a x1 inside bracket P10 minus P20 plus P20. So this is the final equation of this Raoult's law. Here we can say that vapor pressure of solution having different concentration can be calculated by this Raoult's law. So these are the different terms which we have seen in our today's lecture, and this Raoult's law is applicable for the calculating the vapor pressure of solutions having different concentrations, that is for binary liquids. So these are the important things which we have seen in our today's lecture. Thank you very much.